I need more space. Hello, Frank Day here once again. Today I'm finally doing a teching video. What am I doing on? Well, as you can see, I have the G&G ESG B-10 semi-auto shotgun, and I got all these tools laid on the table. Now I know this is out of shot for most of it. G&G says this gun is easy to HPA, and I can tell you, yes, it is very easy, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. But first, let's review some of the parts I have. Now first off, you gotta have the shotgun, of course. I have a HPA tank with a reg. I have it set to 120 PSI. I got a Allen key. This is I believe this is 5/18, don't quote me. I'll probably fix it in post. I also have a socket wrench. This is a 5/16 socket. And lastly, I have a KWA G&G HPA tap. So this gun is KWA threads, so any KWA tap that you have will work with the gun. And also just saying, I got a little trusty headlamp just in case if I need to see better because my eyes are crap. But lift up the gun, you can see, oh, it's our sponsor, Jackal Tactical. Jackal Tactical is everything you need, whether you're starting out or building your next replica from scratch. They have rifles, pistols, snipers, LMGs, BBs, gear, a huge U selection, and so much more. Come check them out at jacktac.com or in person at 729 Walnut Street, Lebanon, PA, or at their ambush location during airsoft walk-ons. Links are in the description below. Alright, so what are the first steps to get this gun all HPA? First off, I'm taking off this QD mount that I got aftermarket, but what you have to do first is there are two push pins right here. Hopefully the camera can see it, or the over top camera can see it. You just go ahead and push these out. That it doesn't matter what you use as long as you can push these out. And they are captive pins like I showed you in the review. And this comes right off. Set this aside for right now, you don't need it. Next, you gotta take this single screw out right here. Now, there's only one screw holding in the tank here, so all you gotta do is take this out with your Allen wrench. The first time taking it out's a little hard, but once you get it out the first time, it's not that hard. Alright, and that comes out. And then we'll be able to lift the tank out. And there you go, there's the tank. We'll set that aside for right now. I did forget to mention you need one more tool. You either need a Dremel or a drill. Now, as we can see on the overhead camera right here, I already made the hole wider. That I used a Dremel with a plastic engraving kit or something to remove material in here. You can use a drill, you can use whatever. Once you remove this tank here, you can make the hole wider, but I already did, so I'm not going to be doing that right now. But we're going to go ahead and put the gun aside right now. And we're going to be taking a look at this. Now, this would be further in, or this would be further out, but I already HPA'd this before. I am just showing you guys what to do. But you would not unscrew this from here, you unscrew from the inside. How we do that, there are two screws right here. What we're going to go ahead and do is take the same Allen wrench and just undo these screws. Or bolts, sorry. Alright. And also just saying, both of these bolts are the same length and they do have two washers on them, so make sure you don't lose the washers. But the thing is though, is that if we do happen to swap the bolts, it's not the end of the world. Alright, so what we would do next is, since the bolts are undone, we can just pull this out nice and slowly and just put this right here. The rest of this assembly can go aside. Now this can come off, but just make sure it doesn't so you don't screw anything up. That can go there. And then take these bolts out, or remove these bolts. Just set them aside. It doesn't matter which way they go in, like I said before. And then you're left with this black piece right here. And then you can see right in here, there is a little bit of a nut, more or less. Now this is the gas fill valve that you're going to be backing it out from the inside. So now we're going to go ahead and take our socket wrench, or ratchet. Now I do recommend having some with thinner walls that some with thicker walls may not fit. But we're going to want to make sure it's going counterclockwise. Then we're going to go ahead, get on there, and take it off. I already put in just a smidge for the demonstration, but it's simple. It'll take a little bit longer, but that's out. Then what we'll go ahead and do is we'll take our HPA fill valve. This is a High Powered Airsoft fill valve. I do recommend this over anything else because it is pretty streamlined and your hole for the stock can be smaller, but you can use other stuff as well. Then what we would do, black thing like this, and make sure the threads are lined up so we don't cross thread it, and just screw it in. Now it only has to be hand tight. You don't need to use Teflon tape unless if your tap does not come with an O-ring. If your tap doesn't come with an O-ring, then I recommend Teflon tape, but still it's pretty snug hand tight. And then we're going to go ahead and reassemble everything. When you're reassembling, make sure this sloped bit here goes towards the front. That if it goes the other way, it may not work out. So we're going to go ahead and make sure it seats properly with the gasket. All right, that's seated. Next, we're going to take our bolts. Again, doesn't matter what bolts they are, they're both the same length. And then we're going to go ahead and screw them back in. Now, I do want to say real quick that this mod is reversible. If you need to, you can change it back to green gas, but at that point, why are you switching this to HPA in the first place? There are some fields that don't allow HPA, and I don't agree with it. But you can switch this back to green. You can switch this back to green gas if you really need to. All right, next we're going to take our tank here. This is at 120 psi roughly, and we're just going to test to make sure there's no leaks. All right, there are no leaks. There's no leaks up here. There's no leaks down here, and there's no leaks in the fill valve. We can test to make sure that this is running good if we go ahead and test the knocker valve right here. All right, so that's good. Now we're just going to go ahead and disconnect it. There's going to be a loud psh because of the expansion chamber on this. All right. And then last two steps, we go ahead and take our gun and we go ahead and make sure we gently lower this in. There's a little friction there, and then your HPA tap should go right through the hole that you made. There we go, and see it properly. Then we're going to take the screw that came out the top, start throwing it in by hand, and then we'll thread the rest in with the Allen wrench. Now this screw does not hold any pressure at all, so don't worry about it. And we'll just test real quick. So it looks like it's functioning properly. And then all we do left is throw on our top cover, and then you're all set. What we're going to go ahead and do real quick now is test. All right, that seems good. And then no magazine in it, no BBs. And it looks like it's shooting good. So that pretty much sums up on how to install an HPA valve on this shotgun. Make sure you go ahead and check out Jackal Tactical if you do want an HPA valve or an ESG B-10. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for the latest greatest content. And I'll see you around, guys.